Hello everyone, today is the day 21 of our 100 days of UX challenge, and today we are going to talk about the chapter 19, which is kind of author is like very much concentrated on this part where he wants to tell us that okay, you should actually materialize this process. You use this process whenever you are doing any UX work for AI products. So we will discuss that. First, let us recap a bit what we have learned till now. Okay, we have actually discussed the first two sections of this book. This is the third section, which is about the research with AI for AI, and over here we will be seeing a few facts and what is the new design process you should use and what is the RITE in detail. Okay, now let's understand about this. The Gen AI can replace a moderately sharp research intern or a product manager who is new to the industry being studied. So Gen AI can replace a UX researcher. So this is one of the key part where he wants to tell us like what all processes can be replaced with something else, maybe some of the AI tools and some of the co-creation with AI. So it's kind of we are leveraging the AI with human researcher capabilities, so you can work very much faster. So that we will be seeing, and also the extracting and summarizing insight is like now it's easier due to AI. Okay, we have seen that so many tools come up, so you just even the ChatGPT can do most of the stuff where you just input your all the research data you gathered and you ask about the insights, like so they can AI can generate actually insights. So that's a part we can leverage, but where AI actually fails, okay, Western bias, because we are in India, we are doing some research studies in India, and it's very likely that we don't have the data in English. Sometimes we have data in some other language, so there is no representation of 21 official languages of India. And whenever you are asking AI or some user has like said some sentences which are kind of a humor or sarcasm, AI might not be able to understand that. Okay, so that is very important. And the hallucinations. So AI actually hallucinate many times if you have seen it in practice. And also there is a survey by McKinsey. So 23% said that their organization faced negative consequences of using Gen AI due to its inaccuracy. Now you have to understand that the McKinsey kind of companies work with very precise kind of a data and precise kind of an insight. So they are working at a very I'll say top-notch level, and you need a top-notch kind of an AI to pull off that kind of a work. So it's more of a designer or researcher needs to be 80% accurate, and he or she can use like 20% of AI. That will be good, but not all the time. Sometimes it decreases your credibility if you are using any sort of AI tool. We have to understand which model they are using, and if that is good enough. So now let's understand what is the RITE method. Okay, it's slightly different than what we are doing traditionally with the research, the way we do research. Now let's understand this. You have day one. Okay, so on on day one, what you are doing, you are showing your prototype to 3 sets of users. Okay, 3 to 4 users. Okay, now after you have done this research, you will get some data. Okay, you will get some data. You want to do some modifications in your prototype or on your screens, so you will do that. So you will update the designs as per the feedback. Then your day 2, in the day 2, now you have like repolish your design. Now you are again showing this to different sets of users. Now you have 3 or 4 different users now. again you are showing, you are getting feedback. Now you will also update this small little changes you think that would be good, so you will get. So what is happening right now, so you are not fixed to one prototype, you are actually changing the prototype. So suppose day one you have conducted a research, and if you think that prototype is low fidelity and you can make some changes, so it also allows you to make some changes and make your prototype better on the go. So on the next round, what you will do, you will again change the designs and show the new users. Like these three sets of users will be newer, so you will get different feedback from them. So the thing is, what author is saying, that your prototype should not be like you are taking a month to work on, and it's with a lot of animations and everything. You don't need to do that. You need a simple paper prototype for you to show to the users, so that will be the best use case for you, and that is what we need to do in this process. Now let's understand. RITE study forms the core of the design process, while usability studies often treated as QA activities. So what author is saying, trying to say is, you should treat this method as a design process itself. So it's not just a UT, because when you label it as a UT, what happens, it is counted or treated as a QA activity for all the developers, all the tech team members. So better you should say that actively, that this is our design process, this is how we are going to do it. Okay, because we need to you have to remember that monkey sketch, where monkey is an AI, that book is the data, okay, and that table is the UI. So you are actually checking all three of this, and that's why we need everything, all the feedbacks in a go. All right, you don't have to finish all the UI work, all the all the data is polished and everything. I mean, we don't need that. It will take a lot of time to get better, but whenever you have the first MVP, you start with this process. Okay, and need to include the research part early into the process, and this helps. Okay, this helps. So when you actually, I mean, every designers have to include this research part early in the process. That's why that's the only way you can you can surpass the competition actually, because there are a lot of variables we don't know when we start a project. So it's better we should just show a glimpse of the product to users and get to know like how do they feel, because many a times you have to scrap the project. Okay, you have to validate it earlier to recover from those losses. Now the second part, RIT studies demands the simplest appropriate prototypes that change rapidly. Usability test often mean fancy rigid prototypes. So as I have said earlier, so we need very simple looking prototypes. Okay, maybe it's a paper prototype or something, so that will be the best use case of that, or maybe simple screens where you can make changes on the go. It won't take like a lot of linking and changing animation and breaking of the prototype and everything. So the simplest prototypes are those which are like click through, and maybe even if you don't want to use Figma, if it's possible on a sticky notes itself, you can go ahead with that. So yeah, that was the point. Another, rarely build fancy animated prototypes because the cost benefit ratio is just too high. Okay, instead simpler Figma click through or even better sticky notes. So that's what I discussed. And rough prototypes invite change. So this is very important, we have to understand that. When I was in design college, we used to forcefully practice this, where we have to just work on a very simple sketchy wireframes or prototypes. Sometimes we think that it's waste of time, but it's not when you are working with a scratch, with blank page of paper, and you haven't like anything you haven't like what you say, you haven't validated this particular product with the users or features. So you have to make sure that you use very low fidelity work when you are showing it to user, because when you show a high fidelity prototype, then the feedback comes very differently. Sometimes it will be on color or what icons you chose, and that sometimes it's irrelevant for us, right? So you have to understand that, and make sure you use the right fidelity for each research study. And this is the last sentence is very important, that code talks, bullshit walks. Okay, until your design is in the code, it's just a picture. So everything, so what author is saying in this kind of AI product research, that you need this product in code. Okay, so whatever the shape it has, okay, we don't have to like stitch your UI with the your finished UI with these finished AI products. It's okay if you are not able to do that, but that should be the idea, that make sure your code is also in shape. Your AI prototype, which is working code, it should also be usable, at least not it should generate some of the response. So at the end of the day, a researcher can actually verbally tell the participants that, okay, imagine that this is the UI, and this, but it's not currently working. This, you just imagine this UI where this AI is going to generate the prompt, and the prompt you can see is in this particular code base. So that could be a Python notebook or something. You can show them the working prototype, you get the response of the prompt, and just try to understand like where your data is, where your AI performance is, and where your UI is. So you will get different feedbacks without even creating a final polished products. And yeah, the last thing, RITE studies produce solutions, usability tests produce reports. So that we have seen regularly, usability test will be ended with a report, right? And in RITE studies, what you are doing is you are actually not just working with the report, but you are actually creating solutions, like how can you solve that, because in a first day you got some feedback and you have to improve the prototype on the second day and show that to users. You have to work a little, you have to stretch your work, and you just have to solve that problem, that mini problem or micro problem, whatever it is. So it's very convenient for us to use the RITE studies, although we might be using this RITE studies like unconsciously maybe, but yeah, we can also actively actually use it, because that's a good way to tell all the stakeholders that, okay, we are going to use this design process where we have to do iterations over the data, AI and the UI itself, so we can club everything into one and show the product to users. So yeah, that's about it. I'll be seeing you in the next video, where we will be diving deep into the ethics part of the AI. So yeah, thanks for joining in, and goodbye.